Good morning. Let me ask you something. Why do we survive heartbreak? Why do we rise after failure? Why do we even try again after being crushed by disappointment? It's not because we're strong, not on our own. It's because someone was there when we weren't sure we could stand back up. That someone is often a friend. We talk a lot about success, health, and happiness, but we rarely talk about the invisible force that holds us together through all of it. Friendship. Friendship is not a luxury. It's not just something that happens when we have free time or when we're young and unburdened. Friendship is a lifeline. And today, I want to show you exactly how it shapes your life, whether you're aware of it or not. Hello, and welcome to another episode of In the Service, an Alda Muse podcast. Let's begin with something that might surprise you. Most of us don't understand just how much our friendships affect our lives, especially our health. We talk a lot about exercise, diet, and sleep when it comes to maintaining our physical and mental well-being. But there's one thing we often overlook: the power of connection. A 2023 Harvard study on adult development, the longest and most comprehensive study of happiness ever conducted, showed something truly remarkable. People with strong social relationships are not only happier, but they are healthier and live longer. In fact, those who have deep, meaningful friendships experience less stress, anxiety, and depression. Their immune systems function better, they sleep better, they feel better, physically and emotionally. On the flip side, the study also found that loneliness can have a devastating effect on your health. If you don't have a close circle of friends, your risk of dying early increases by 26%. Let that sink in for a moment. Loneliness increases the risk of death by 26%. That's a number you can't ignore. To put it in perspective, this statistic is comparable to the health risks associated with smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's right. The absence of close, meaningful friendships can be just as damaging to your health as smoking a pack of cigarettes every single day. It's that serious. Now, this isn't just about having a group of people to go out with on weekends or share a drink with. Friendship is about much more than just being around others. It's about knowing that someone sees you, truly sees you, your strengths, your flaws, your deepest fears, and still chooses to stay. It's about knowing that no matter what happens, someone will stand by you. It's the security of having someone in your corner, even when the world feels like it's falling apart. Think about it. Have you ever been through a tough time, whether it was personal loss, failure, or just feeling like the weight of the world was on your shoulders? I bet you can pinpoint that one friend who showed up not because they had all the answers, but because they just knew you needed them. Maybe they didn't say anything profound. Maybe they didn't even try to fix the situation. They were just there. That's the kind of friendship that makes all the difference in the world. It's a different kind of bond, a bond that goes beyond superficial interactions. It's the kind of connection that makes you feel seen and valued, not just for what you can do or how successful you are, but for who you are at your core. And if you think about it, it's not just an emotional benefit. The health impacts are real and undeniable. We know that human connection reduces the levels of cortisol, the stress hormone in our bodies. It triggers the release of oxytocin, the hormone that helps reduce anxiety and promotes feelings of trust and comfort. This isn't just abstract theory, it's biology. Our bodies are literally wired to respond positively when we feel connected to others. Yet so many people walk through life feeling isolated, disconnected, and like no one truly understands them. And that's dangerous. It's not just emotionally taxing, it's physically damaging. Your body responds to loneliness with increased stress levels, higher blood pressure, and a weakened immune system. Over time, this takes a toll, leading to a higher risk of chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, and even early death. We need to stop underestimating the importance of friendship in our lives. It's not a luxury or something we can afford to neglect. It's a necessity. We all need to invest in building and nurturing real friendships because ultimately it's those relationships that can keep us healthy, grounded, and alive. Imagine the power of a community that takes care of each other, not just by sharing meals or events, but by truly being there for one another in the hardest moments. Imagine what it would mean to be the kind of person who sees their friends not as optional, but as an essential part of their life's foundation. Because when it comes down to it, friendships are not just about having people to talk to, they are about having people who genuinely care about your well-being. And that care has the power to change your life in ways that go far beyond anything we can measure on a scale or in a lab. It's the quiet force that keeps us whole. We often hear that the people we surround ourselves with have an impact on our lives. It's easy to brush it off as a nice piece of advice or something people say to motivate us. But here's the truth. This isn't just some catchy quote. It's a scientific fact. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This isn't something up for debate. It's backed by neuroscience. We are hardwired to mirror the emotions, attitudes, and behaviors of those around us. This is called emotional contagion. It's the phenomenon where the feelings of others literally influence our own feelings. Think about the last time you were around someone who was in a bad mood. You probably felt yourself sinking into their energy, maybe becoming more frustrated or stressed without even realizing it. On the other hand, when you're around someone who radiates positivity and kindness, don't you feel a little lighter, more hopeful? That's emotional contagion at work. It's not just about attitude. It goes deeper than that. If you spend time with people who are anxious, cynical, or constantly doubting themselves, you'll find yourself reflecting those same traits. You'll start to think the world is a dark, discouraging place. Your own fears and insecurities will grow. You may even begin to doubt your own potential. But if you surround yourself with people who are kind, driven, hopeful, and supportive, you absorb those traits too. You start to see the world through a different lens. You become more confident, more optimistic, and more willing to take risks. It's not just about being around people, it's about who you choose to spend your time with and the energy they bring into your life. Let me share a story that really drives this point home. There's a small town in Pennsylvania called Roseto, and in the 1960s, researchers discovered something truly astonishing. Despite the fact that the people of Roseto had poor diets, smoked heavily, and didn't exercise much, virtually no one under the age of 65 had heart disease. This was almost unheard of, considering that heart disease was rapidly becoming the leading cause of death in the United States. Naturally, the researchers were puzzled. They expected to find an explanation rooted in diet, exercise, or genetics, but they didn't. What they found was something far more profound. The town of Roseto was a tight-knit community. People knew each other. They weren't just neighbors, they were family in every sense of the word. Generations lived together in close proximity. Neighbors dropped by each other's homes every day. No one felt isolated. No one was left out. This deep sense of connection, this constant and consistent emotional support literally protected their hearts. The people of Roseto had something that science now recognizes as a form of medicine: community, friendship. It wasn't their lifestyle choices or the lack of exercise that saved them. It was the fact that they had each other. They had relationships that weren't just surface level, but deep, meaningful, and always there. This story isn't just an anomaly. It's a testament to the power of connection. Our friendships shape who we are and how we live. When you surround yourself with people who are emotionally healthy, who have a positive outlook on life, you begin to reflect those same attitudes. You start to make healthier decisions. You begin to thrive in an environment that nurtures your growth. The reverse is also true. If you spend time with people who are negative, who feed into your doubts and fears, you start to shrink. You start to believe the worst about yourself. Your growth stagnates. You don't chase dreams because your friends are too busy telling you it's impossible. You don't take risks because they're afraid of failure. The people closest to you shape the way you view the world and, more importantly, the way you view yourself. This is why it's so crucial to be mindful of who you choose to keep close. Your friends aren't just there to fill space. They are actively shaping your future. They are influencing the person you're becoming. So the question becomes, do the people around you inspire you to be the best version of yourself? Do they lift you up or hold you back? You have the power to curate your circle. Surround yourself with those who challenge you, support you, and believe in the vision you have for your life. When you do, you'll begin to see how much more you are capable of. You'll notice that the energy of your friends doesn't just affect your mood, it affects your entire life. It shapes your actions, your mindset, and ultimately your success. Choose your circle wisely, because your friendships are shaping who you become. When life gets hard, and it will, we often think of resilience as something that comes from deep within. We hear about grit, perseverance, and hustle. We believe that to overcome the hardest challenges, we must summon some inner strength to keep pushing forward. But here's the truth, it's not the grit or hustle that keeps us going. It's connection. Think about it for a moment. Life isn't always a smooth ride. It can take sudden, unexpected turns. Tragedy strikes when we least expect it. Loss, failure, heartbreak, these things happen, and they often leave us feeling like we're drowning. And in those moments, what matters most isn't how hard we try to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, or how many motivational quotes we repeat to ourselves. What truly makes a difference in our ability to keep going is the presence of others. I think about a woman named Lisa. She lost her husband suddenly in a car accident. She had every reason to spiral into despair. She had every reason to let the weight of her grief pull her under. She could have isolated herself, and who would have blamed her? But Lisa had something most of us don't realize is a lifeline in times of pain. She had a friend. Her friend Jen didn't show up with advice. She didn't tell Lisa how to grieve or offer any words that would fix the situation. She didn't come with solutions or a list of things Lisa should do next. No, Jen just showed up. Every morning, without fail, Jen knocked on Lisa's door. She didn't bring a plan. She didn't bring answers. She brought presence. For hours, Jen would simply sit with Lisa. Sometimes they didn't speak at all. Sometimes they cried together, but Jen was there every single day, providing a steady presence in the face of Lisa's unbearable pain. 2 years later, Lisa runs a support group for widows. She helps others who are walking the same painful path. When asked how she made it through those early, agonizing months of grief, Lisa didn't mention therapy. She didn't say it was time that healed her. She didn't credit herself for being strong or resilient in the face of loss. No, she said simply, I had someone who didn't let me be alone in my pain. Resilience doesn't come from fighting alone. It doesn't come from isolating yourself and trying to carry the burden of the world on your shoulders. It comes from knowing you have someone by your side when you don't have the strength to stand on your own. It comes from having people in your life who show up when the world feels like it's crumbling. The kind of people who don't just tell you to get over it, but who sit in the mess with you, who walk through the storm beside you. Well, that's what friendship gives us. It gives us the strength to endure when everything else feels impossible. Because here's the thing, adversity is part of life. It will find us all. None of us are immune to hardship. But how we navigate it, the way we rise, the way we rebuild, is shaped by the connections we have. Lisa didn't find resilience in solitude. She didn't find it in a motivational book or in trying to push through by sheer willpower. She found it in the quiet, unwavering presence of someone who cared. That's the power of friendship. When you go through the toughest moments of your life, What gets you through is not the idea that you need to be strong on your own. It's the realization that you don't have to be strong alone. And that's what connection gives us. The courage to face the darkest days, knowing that we are not alone in the struggle. Think of your own life. Have there been moments where you felt like you couldn't go on? Maybe it was an illness, a loss, a failure, or just the crushing weight of the world on your shoulders. Now think about who was there for you, who held you up, who walked with you even when you felt like you couldn't take another step. That person didn't save you with words, they saved you with presence. They were there for you in your brokenness, and that made all the difference. Resilience is not a solo act. It's a shared experience. It's built in the spaces between people who care, who show up, who refuse to let you face the darkness alone. And that, my friends, is the true power of friendship. It's not just about having someone to laugh with during the good times. It's about having someone to hold you together during the hardest ones. Here's a truth that many of us don't want to admit. Friendship isn't something that just happens. It's not something that magically falls into place or appears when we need it most. The reality is that friendship requires intentionality. You often think that friendships will just click, that we'll meet the right person, and everything will fall into place. But true, meaningful, life-giving friendship doesn't come from convenience or happenstance. It doesn't happen when you're just passively waiting for it to show up. It's built day by day with effort. It starts with the small things, the things that we often overlook. It's the phone call you make when you're tired, when you've had a long day, and all you want to do is crawl into bed, but you pick up the phone anyway because you know that a simple check-in can mean the world to someone. It's the text you send just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. It's not for any reason other than to let them know they matter. And let's be real, sometimes it's the hardest thing to do, especially when you're going through your own struggles. But this is where friendship begins. It's in those moments when you make the decision to reach out instead of retreat. True friendship is built on honesty. And sometimes being honest means saying the hard things. It means being vulnerable, even when it would be easier to put up a mask and pretend everything is fine. Because let's face it, life isn't always fine. We all face our own challenges, fears, and insecurities. And if you want deeper friendships, you need to be the one who goes first. You have to be willing to show your scars, to let people in when you feel most exposed. Not always easy, but it's in that vulnerability that real connections are made. There's something incredibly powerful in telling someone how much they matter to you. We live in a world where we often assume that people know how much they mean to us, but the truth is, many of us are walking around feeling unnoticed and undervalued. Imagine how much it would change someone's day to hear from you. You are important to me. I see you. I appreciate you. It's not about grand gestures. It's about acknowledging the quiet, steady presence of the people who make your life better. But friendship isn't just about getting something. It's about showing up for others, even when you're not sure what they need. It's about being there in the quiet moments when they're going through something difficult, not because you want to be the hero, but because you believe in showing up for people, no matter what. It's the loyalty you show when no one is watching, the support you give without expecting anything in return. You give not because of what they can offer you, but because you know that building something real, something lasting, requires effort, sacrifice, and consistency. We've all heard the phrase, you get what you give, but with true friendship, it's not about a transactional exchange. It's about investing in another person's life without the expectation of a return. It's about showing up for the people who matter to you even when you're tired, even when you feel like you don't have anything left to give. Sometimes just being there is enough. And more often than not, those small, quiet moments of showing up are what lay the foundation for lifelong connections. It's easy to think that friendship will just happen. We think that if we're kind, if we're friendly, we'll naturally attract the right people. But it's the effort we put into the relationship that determines its depth. If you want friends who are truly there for you, be the one who reaches out first. Be the one who calls when it's hard. Be the one who's there not just in the good times, but in the difficult ones too. Because that's when true friendship is built, when you're both willing to put in the work, to show up, and to stay. It's easy to take people for granted or wait for someone else to take the first step. But if we truly want relationships that last, we need to become the kind of friend we wish to have. Not because we're looking for something in return, but because we believe in the value of building something that lasts. It's the quiet moments of effort, the consistent actions, the willingness to be vulnerable that build friendships capable of weathering any storm. That's what makes them worth having. And that's what makes them worth fighting for. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to chase after things. Money, titles, recognition. We measure success by how much we can accumulate, how high we can climb, and how many people know our names. And while there's nothing wrong with ambition or striving for success, there's a reality that becomes undeniable as we look back on our lives. When we reach the end of our journey, it's not the amount of money in our bank account that we talk about. It's not the promotions or the awards. It's not the number of followers we had or the size of our influence. No. What we talk about, the things that truly matter, are the people who sat at our table, the ones who stood by us when everything fell apart, the ones who were there not because of what we could do for them, but because they genuinely cared for us. That's what friendship is. It's not flashy, it's not loud, and it's not something that can be seen from the outside looking in. It's quiet, it's subtle, but it's the most essential part of our lives. Because at the end of the day, the things that truly shape us, the things that give our lives depth, richness, and meaning are the connections we've made with others. And those connections, those friendships, are what stand the test of time. Think about it. In the most trying times of your life, what helped you get through? Was it the promotions you got at work? The applause from a crowd? Or was it the friend who called you at 2 a.m. when you needed someone to talk to? The one who didn't ask for anything in return, but simply wanted to make sure you were okay. When everything else feels uncertain, when everything else feels fragile, friendship is the one thing that offers a steady, unwavering foundation. A career might give you a sense of purpose. The work you do, the goals you achieve, they give you something to focus on, something to strive for. But purpose is different from meaning. Purpose is about what you do. Meaning is about why you do it. And the people who surround you, the friends who are there for you, are the ones who give your life meaning. They are the ones who remind you of what truly matters, even when the world is caught up in all the noise of success, power, and status. Friendship offers something that no career achievement or material possession ever will. It offers a deep sense of connection. It gives you someone to lean on when you feel weak, someone to cheer you on when you're too tired to cheer for yourself. Friendship reminds you that you are seen, that you matter, not for your accomplishments, but simply for who you are. I've seen this firsthand, time and time again. People reach the pinnacle of their careers and achieve incredible success. But when they look back, it's not the trophies or accolades that give them joy. It's the people who were there, the ones who showed up in the quiet moments. It's the friend who shared a meal with them after a long day, the one who offered a shoulder to cry on, the one who didn't leave when things got tough. When you look at the stories of the most fulfilled, the most content people, you'll find that it's never the number of zeros in their paycheck that defines their happiness. It's the depth of their relationships, the richness of the bonds they've formed, because at the end of it all, it's not the things you've acquired or the titles you've earned that will matter. It's the lives you've touched, the way you've been there for others, the friendships you've built. And that's the foundation of a meaningful life. It's not about the accomplishments. It's about the people who make your life worth living. When everything else fades away, the friendships you've nurtured, the moments you've shared, and the love you've given and received will be what remains. That's what will define you. That's what will make your life rich and meaningful. Because at the end of the day, the people who sit at your table are the ones who truly make your life whole. They are the ones who will stand by you when the world walks out. And it's those relationships, those friendships that matter most. So I'll end with this. If you have just one person in this world, you can call it 2 a.m. Someone who will celebrate your victories as if they were their own. Someone who will sit with you in your losses and let you feel the weight of your pain without judgment. You are already rich. You are wealthier than you may realize, not because of the things you own, but because of the connection you have with another human being. In a world that so often tells us to hustle, to accumulate, to strive, we forget that the true measure of success isn't in what you have. It's in who is there with you when the noise fades away, when the applause stops, and when the world is silent. Because that's what really matters. It's the people who show up for you. It's the friend who sends you a message when you're struggling, the one who drops everything to stand by your side when you need them the most. It's those moments that define our lives, the quiet ones, the ones where we realize that the love and support of someone else is what keeps us going. When everything else feels uncertain, when everything else seems to crumble, it's the relationships we've built that give us the strength to carry on. But if you're sitting here right now and you realize you don't have that person, if you've been feeling alone, wondering who would be there if you needed them, then it's time for a shift. You don't have to wait for someone else to reach out to you. Be that person for someone else. The greatest friendships aren't built on waiting for others to come to you. They're built on the courage to go first. They're built on your willingness to reach out, to be the one who shows up when it's inconvenient, to be the one who listens, to be the one who says, I'm here for you. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. It starts with you, and it starts now. Because here's the truth. We're all searching for connection. We're all searching for meaning in our lives, and that meaning doesn't come from things. It doesn't come from success or recognition. It comes from the people we build relationships with, the ones who walk through life alongside us, who lift us up when we stumble and cheer for us when we succeed. So if you don't have that person, be that person. Reach out to someone. Let them know that you're there, that they matter, that they don't have to go through life alone. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that we have to do everything ourselves, that we need to be strong and independent. But true strength comes from knowing you don't have to do it all alone. It's the vulnerability of letting someone else in that makes us stronger, not weaker. It's in the shared moments, the shared experiences, the support and love we give and receive that we find our real strength. So go call your friend, not because you need something, not because you're looking for anything in return, but because we all need each other. We all need someone who will show up, someone who will stand by us, someone who will remind us that we're not alone in this journey. And if you don't have that person yet, be the one who makes that connection happen. Be the one who reaches out, who shows up, and who makes a difference in someone's life. Because that's where real richness lies, in the relationships we build, the bonds we form, and the love we share. Thank you.